Hello my loves, it's time to pick our July TBR. There are a lot of exciting things happening in July, so I thought it'd be fun to bring the jar back this month. So Summerween is happening starting on July 5th. It's going for a week. This is Gabby and Olivia's readathon. We read spooky, scary things for a week in summer, and it is probably my favorite readathon to participate in. So I'm gonna be doing 3 Summerween videos, so we need to pick some books that we are going to read. I'm gonna pick 10 things. We're gonna try to make at least 5 of them spooky so that we can read them during that readathon. But without further ado, let's get started. If you guys haven't attended a TBR with me before, this is my jar full of fun little reading challenges and prompts, and then we pick them and I'll pick a book off my shelves to read. This first one is a book that has an odd number of pages. So I've got my little stack over here of horror/thriller things that I'd like to read for Summerween, so we'll see what page numbers we have. So first up is Everything the Darkness Eats, which has 221 pages, which is exactly what we need. So book number 1 is going to be Everything the Darkness Eats. One of you guys did comment and tell me that this has some pretty intense trigger warnings, so I'm going to make sure that I look those up before I read this, but this will be my first Eric LaRocca. I've never read one of his books before, and it looks like we have some occult things going on in a rural New England village. Some bigotry is afoot, and I really love that the pages of this have some art on them. This will be book 1. And the second thing we will be reading this month is this one. Do you guys want to see it before me? Upside down. Okay, this is Instagram. So I'm gonna grab my phone and we will scroll on Instagram until we find something that is either on my shelves or that I can get from the library. Okay, I'm gonna start with people's stories because I feel like maybe more likely to get a book in there. Ooh, okay. This is from Reading Beyond Reality, and she's got some June reads up here. I believe I have Ripe from Libro FM, so we could read that. I want to see maybe if she's said anything about it on her Instagram yet. Sad corporate girlie has depression personified via black hole. Probs too relatable at the moment. Interesting. Okay, let me confirm that I have that, because if we do, that will definitely be what we read. Yes, we do have it. Okay, I had this as part of their influencer program. So this came out in July of last year, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. So this is really exciting that we have an excuse to read this now. Okay, lovely. Thank you to Reading Beyond Reality for that. I don't really know if it's a recommendation because she didn't say what she thought of it, but it wasn't her TBR, so hopefully she liked it. Okay, book number 3. Let's do this one. What does it say? Gorgeous cover. Perfect. Let's find a pretty cover to read. Okay, I do have Our Hideous Progeny on hold from the library, which has a really stunning cover. I love this style of cover where it's like these little vignettes of things that are all put together into this one composition. This is a Frankenstein inspired story, and I do love the story of Frankenstein. It's one of my favorite classics ever. And this is following this woman. She's, I think, Frankenstein's like great niece or something, and she knows that he disappeared in the Arctic but doesn't really know like what went down with the monster and everything. This feels like a Frankenstein retelling that's going to be very true to the original text, not a Frankenstein retelling that's going to be like a big green monster with a bolt through its neck, which is very exciting because I really, really love the original story. I've been wanting to read more science fiction type things. I think this is going to really toe that line between science fiction and horror. That would be perfect for Summerween. So this is what I'm going to pick for our 3rd book. Okay, moving right along to this one. What does it say? The newest book on my TBR. Okay, well the newest book on my TBR is this because I just bought this and that's already on there. So what could we do instead? Okay, I know what it is. It's Ancillary Justice. This is not what I expected to, or really what I want to read this month, but I think it is what we are going to read. I'm really excited to read this book, but she's a little chunky and I wasn't really expecting to read something this long in this month. That's okay. This is gonna be fine. The jar has spoken and we must read this. This is for fans of murder bots. We've got some artificial intelligence going on here. I haven't read the back yet, so let's read it together. On a remote, icy planet, the soldier known as Breck is drawing closer to completing her quest. Once she was Justice of Torin, a colossal starship with an artificial intelligence linking thousands of soldiers in the service of the Radk. There's gonna be some words in here I can't pronounce. The empire that conquered the galaxy. Now an act of treachery has ripped it all away, leaving her with one fragile human body, many unanswered questions, and a burning desire for vengeance. Interesting. Our main character used to be the AI on this huge ship, and now she is in a human body. Ooh. I'm really excited to read this, and actually this is probably good to give myself a deadline, an excuse to pick this up now instead of putting it off forever. This will be halfway through this 5th one. Ooh, yay. Okay, it's a most anticipated book of the year. I will be reading Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. I am so excited to pick this up. I love the cursed film type situation. I actually have staring at me right now Dead 11, which I think looks very similar to the Horror Movie cover with the VHS tape, but really excited to read this. We've got a group of guerrilla filmmakers in 1993 making Horror Movie, which is a notorious disturbing art house horror flick. Only 3 of the film scenes were ever released to the public, but it has nevertheless grown a rabid fan base. 3 decades later, Hollywood is pushing for a big budget reboot, but there's only one surviving cast member. He played the thin kid, and he remembers all too well the secrets buried within the original screenplay and the bizarre events of the filming and the dangerous lines crossed on set that resulted in tragedy. Amazing. I'm really glad we could fit that in because I was able to get the audiobook on Everend and I desperately want to read it this month. I was worried that the jar wouldn't give us enough spooky things, but it has really come through. Ooh, okay, a book set outside of the US. I know exactly what I am picking. Will this finally be the year that I read Mexican Gothic? I think it has to be. I need to read this. One of my biggest pet peeves is like poorly done British accents, and so I tried to read the audiobook of this and it just did not go well for me, and I really desperately want to read this because it is fungal horror and I love fungal horror and I want to read this moldy, scary book. We will be doing it. Hopefully we will achieve it this month. 4 more. That's so many books. Why did I think I could read 10 books in a month? I feel like I have this vision in my head where I'm still reading like 10 to 20 books in a month, and 10 is like the upper limit of what I read. So I think I'm being ambitious with this, but we need to read an indie author. Okay, I have 2 options from the same author. These are both from Rebecca Thorne. Just based on sheer size of the book, I think it's gonna be this one. This one probably would fit into Summerween, but I think we have enough spooky things. This is what I'm putting on the TBR. I literally knew nothing about this. I just picked it up because the author was talking about this as like a book that she had written a long time ago, and she thinks it's the best thing she's ever written. She published a lot of cozy fantasy things before this, but like now that she has a following, this was really the thing that she wanted to publish. So I bought it on release day. I have a copy. If you know anything about this author, you know that she will often, because she's independently published, there's like not a lot of ability to do special editions. So she had a typo in the first book that she released and fixed it within a day or 2 of the book being published. So the people who got the book early got a copy and kind of treated it like a special edition. And so now for like the first day, I believe she sells copies and then she changes it to regular copies after that. So it's kind of like a if you know, you know situation. Anyways, we have a countdown in here. So the chapter titles are like X amount of days before death stopped. The back says, desperation is the most dangerous type of magic. An out-of-control spell isn't her problem. Listen, Claire Bishop is Las Vegas's greatest stage magician and she's perfectly happy with that fame. Ozark is the next Zorro, the leader of the world's witches, the modern-day Darcy everyone swoons over. Just because Claire shares Zorro's unfathomable magic doesn't mean she shares the responsibility. So if Ozark wants to make himself a villain by casting an ultra-dangerous spell to stop death on Earth for her, to protect her, that sounds like a him problem. Claire has a show in 4 hours. Skipping it to save the world might give her manager a heart attack. Ozark may be her friend, but it sounds like a lot of work. Ugh, fine. Hilarious. It sounds like it's gonna be an interesting little relationship, maybe a romance between the 2 of these characters. These are them. Looks interesting. We will try it out together. I think that means we have 3 left? 7. Yes, we have 3 more to pull. Okay. Okay. We got the newest book on our TBR, and now we have the oldest book on our TBR. I would have picked Mexican Gothic for this because that has been on my TBR for way too long. What I'm going to do instead of that is I'm going to pick this because this would be perfect for Summerween. And one of you lovely people sent it to me, so I am absolutely overdue to read this. So Meg, thank you for saying this to me. Meg said, recently found your channel and want to say thank you for your videos. Congratulations on your move. I'm so glad everything worked out. Yeah, so this is from last fall and I wanted to read this in October fall time, and I am going to be leaving the country on October fall time, so we need to read this right now. I'm gonna count it for this prompt. This is an essay collection. It is queer reflections on horror. So there are 25 different contemporary queer and trans writers reflecting on the horror movies that shaped them and shook them, from Hitchcock to Halloween to Hereditary. So this would be fun to do during Summerween. We can read some of these stories and watch some scary movies. I think that'll be super, super fun. I've heard absolutely incredible things about this, so we are overdue to read this one. Okay, that means we have 2 things left. I'm seeing a lot of big books in my stack there. We need to get some audiobooks, we need to get some short things. We need a 5-star prediction. Okay, you know what I want to read? I've been wanting to read a Cat Valente, and this sounds like a really good excuse to do that. So I'm gonna read Space Opera by Cat Valente. This seems to be like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy meets Eurovision, a musical contest where the stakes are as high as the fate of planet Earth. I have no idea what ride Cat Valente is gonna send us on, but I guarantee it will be 5 stars. Cat Valente is one of my new favorite authors. I think pretty much every single thing I've read from her, I've given either 4 or 5 stars. So if anything was a 5-star prediction, it's this one. Okay, and that means our last book is one of these two. Which one? Which one should it be? Should be the bottom one? Oh, it's gonna be this one. Okay, it's double up, which means that I get to use one book for 2 prompts, but we already picked all of our prompts and we have 9 books. So I guess that means that we're done, but I kind of don't want to be done. I wonder if I can, okay, we're gonna pick another one because I could double up, but I've already picked 9 things and that feels odd. So we're gonna pick another prompt, and then if we can make one of these books work for that prompt, we'll do that. We'll double up that way. Okay, we've got 2 in here again. I think I'm gonna pick this big one. But if not, then we'll just pick one for this as well. Okay. Okay, we have a book that is uncanny. What could be more uncanny than an AI stuck in a human? I feel like that could count. We could also say that Our Hideous Progeny is gonna be uncanny. I'm sure Everything the Darkness Eats is gonna get uncanny in some way. I think we have plenty of uncanny things on here, so I am gonna double up and use one of those to fulfill that prompt. So that means that we have picked our 9 books that we are reading in June. We have these 5 physically, and then I have those 4 audiobooks that we will read as well. I'm very excited for June. I can't wait for Summerween. Let me know what you guys are gonna read for Summerween if you're participating in Summerween. I'm gonna have 3 videos. Let me tell you when I'm posting them. So this Friday, even though it's the start of Summerween, will just be regular scheduled June wrap up so that we can get that out of the way, and then the next week we'll start with our Summerween vlogs. So I will be posting on the 7th, the 9th, and the 12th. So that's Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday, so that we can encompass all of Summerween. I'm very excited to do almost daily vlogs. We'll have 2 with 2 days and then 1 with the last 3 days on it. I would love to hear what you guys are gonna read for Summerween if you're participating. If you're not, let me know what you're gonna be reading in the month of July. And let me know in the comments if you've read any of the things that are on my TBR, if you loved them, if you hated them, if you have any warnings, excitement, feelings to share with me. I would love to hear that as well. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you on Friday for our regularly scheduled content. We have 2 months to recap, and there are a lot of things that I did not vlog at all, so lots of exciting things coming your way, and I will see you then. Bye.